Alien assassin never had a human target before, so we warned him. Run. HFY Sci-Fi Story. The cold blue light of 3 moons filtered through the viewport as Kang sat motionless in his quarters. His fingers moved across the holographic display, examining the details of his new contract. In 20 years as the galaxy's most feared assassin, he had eliminated targets from over 30 different species. But never a human. Computer, display all available information on humans, Kang commanded. The air before him filled with biological data, historical records, and behavioral analyses. His communication terminal chimed. The weathered face of his handler, Master Tay, appeared on screen. "You have received the contract details?" Tay asked, his voice gravelly with age. "Yes, the human diplomat on Proxima Station, Dr. Jisoo." Kang continued scrolling through the information. "Payment is triple the standard rate." "Curious." Tay's expression darkened. "I advise rejecting this contract." Kang looked up, surprised. In 200 successful eliminations, Tay had never suggested turning down work. "Explain," Kang said simply. "Humans are not like other species we have dealt with," Tay replied. "They appear weak. Their bodies break easily, they lack natural weapons, but there is something different about them." Kang studied the biological data floating before him. Humans seemed unremarkable. No venomous glands, no enhanced strength, no natural armor. Just soft, vulnerable creatures who had somehow survived long enough to reach the stars. "Their weakness is obvious," Kang said. "I see no special challenge." Tay shook his head slowly. 3 of our guild have taken human contracts before you. None returned. This information gave Kang pause. Failed missions or failed returns? Unknown, they simply disappeared. Tay leaned closer to the screen. "Listen carefully. Humans do not fight like other species. They do not follow expected patterns. When threatened, they do not react with predictable fear or aggression." "Every species has patterns," Kang insisted. "It is simply a matter of finding them." "The client wants the human eliminated within 15 days, Tay continued. "They insist it must look like an accident to avoid diplomatic incidents." Kang nodded. "Standard approach, then. I will depart for Proxima Station immediately." Tay's face showed rare emotion, concern. "If you insist on accepting this contract, remember what I tell you now. Humans evolved as pursuit predators. They do not give up. They do not forget. If they identify you as a threat, they will not stop until you are eliminated." Kang closed the files with a wave of his hand. "I appreciate your concern, but it is unnecessary. This target will be no different from the others." As the transmission ended, Kang began methodical preparations for the mission. His ship's computer compiled data on human vulnerabilities, while he selected specialized toxins effective against their biology. What Kang didn't notice was the small data packet transmitted after his conversation with Tai. It traveled through 3 secure relays before reaching Proxima Station's security network. Its message was simple. "Threat inbound. Target Diplomat Jisoo. Assassin. Kang of the Shadow Guild. Estimated arrival 48 hours. On Proxima Station, Security Chief Park received the alert. He didn't question its source. The warning system had saved human lives before. He accessed Jisoo's schedule and began making subtle changes. Then he called a private meeting with his security team. "We have a visitor coming," he told them calmly, "and we need to prepare a special welcome." As Kang's ship entered hyperspace, he felt the familiar calm of a mission beginning. He had no way of knowing that his prey was already preparing to become the predator. Proxima Station gleamed like a jewel against the darkness of space. Inside, moving through the crowded market level, Kang blended perfectly with the hundreds of different species. He had adopted the identity of a merchant dealing in rare minerals, a cover that allowed him freedom of movement throughout the station. 3 days had passed since his arrival, and he had yet to glimpse his target. Dr. Jisoo's schedule proved frustratingly unpredictable. According to station records, the human diplomat should have attended 4 public functions, but had appeared at only 1, staying briefly before departing through a service corridor. "Unusual," Kang muttered to himself, as he updated his notes. No other species he had studied showed such irregular patterns. Most followed predictable routines dictated by biology and cultural habits. On the fourth day, Kang finally saw his target in person. Dr. Jisoo entered the central plaza, surrounded not by guards, but by representatives from 3 different species. Kang observed from behind a vendor's stall, noting the human's confident movements and alert posture. The Boran delegation requests immediate withdrawal of Centaurian forces, growled the taller alien, scales flaring in agitation. Kang expected standard diplomatic evasion. Instead, Jisoo stepped directly between the arguing parties. "Both your peoples have legitimate concerns," the human said calmly. "Let's address them one by one, starting with water rights in the disputed zone." For 2 hours, Kang watched as Jisoo navigated complex negotiations that would have ended in violence among most species. The human exhibited an unusual ability to understand each party's underlying motivations, suggesting compromises that seemed impossible moments before. That evening, Kang implemented his first elimination attempt. He had identified Jisoo's preferred beverage, a bitter earth drink called coffee, and calculated the perfect amount of colorless, odorless neurotoxin to cause what would appear as a natural cardiac failure. The following morning, he monitored from across the station's common area as Jisoo approached the beverage dispenser. At the last moment, the human changed course, heading instead to a different dispenser entirely. "Unexpected," Kang whispered. He had observed Jisoo's morning routine for 3 days. This deviation made no logical sense. Later that day, station maintenance discovered the toxin during a random inspection. The incident was reported as a dispenser malfunction, but Kang noticed something troubling. The inspection wasn't scheduled in any public records he had accessed. For his second attempt, Kang planted a miniature explosive device along a corridor Jisoo used daily. The charge was designed to trigger a catastrophic failure in the station's power conduits, a tragic accident that would leave no evidence. Just hours before the planned detonation, a maintenance worker discovered the device during what was logged as an unscheduled system check. Again, no such check appeared in any station records Kang had accessed. That night, reviewing security footage, Kang noticed something disturbing. The maintenance worker who found the device had moved with purpose directly to its location as if knowing exactly where to look. "Impossible," he said to the empty room. His methods were flawless. No species had ever detected his work before implementation. As he pondered this puzzle, his secure communication terminal activated. The message contained no identification and bypassed 6 layers of security protocols. "We know who you are. We know why you're here. This is your only warning. Run." Kang stared at the message. In 20 years, no target had ever identified him before he struck. Yet somehow these humans not only knew of his presence, but had countered 2 elimination attempts without raising general alarms. The next morning, needing information, Kang arranged a meeting with his station contact, a smuggler named Hyun who specialized in information trading. "The humans," Kang began when they met in a quiet corner of the lower markets. "Tell me what you know." Hyun looked nervously over his shoulder before speaking. "They're watching you. Have been since before you arrived." "Impossible," Kang said, flatly. "My arrival was completely covert." "Doesn't matter with humans," Hyun whispered. "They think differently. They prepare for threats that don't exist yet. They call it worst-case scenario planning." Hyun leaned closer. "Listen carefully. The last 3 assassins who targeted humans never returned to report failure or success. They simply vanished." As Hyun departed, Kang caught sight of a human security officer watching him from across the market. Their eyes met briefly before the officer smiled slightly and walked away. For the first time in his career, Kang felt a strange sensation forming in his chest. It took him a moment to recognize it as unease. Kang hurried through the dimly lit maintenance tunnels of Proxima Station. For the first time in his career, he looked over his shoulder constantly. Something was wrong. His equipment had started failing. 3 of his hidden cameras went dark overnight. 2 motion sensors never activated. His secure communications linked to Master Tay now returned only static. "Surveillance compromised," he noted in his personal log. "Unknown how." He had placed high-grade monitoring devices at key locations near Jisoo's quarters and office. These were not simple tools. They were military-grade, designed to blend with existing systems. No ordinary security sweep should have found them, yet someone had not only found them, but replaced them with perfect decoys. Kang had discovered this only by accident, when one unit's power signature flickered momentarily in his diagnostic scan. He reached a junction and paused, listening. The station hummed with the normal sounds of life support and power systems. But something felt wrong. The maintenance schedule he had memorized showed this section should be busy with repair crews. Instead, it was empty. His secure datapad vibrated. A message appeared on the screen, sent through channels that should have been known only to him. Final warning. Your presence is known. Your methods are known. Your target is protected. Leave now. Kang stared at the message. The humans couldn't possibly have traced his equipment. He had used 6 different identities to acquire the parts through separate channels. Unless a cold feeling settled in his stomach, unless they had been watching him since before his arrival. But how would they have known? The answer came moments later when his emergency channel activated. It was Hyun, his information contact, voice tight with fear. Meeting. Now. Usual place. Critical information. 20 minutes later, Kang sat in a shadowy corner of the lower market's least reputable drinking establishment. Hyun slid into the seat across from him, eyes darting nervously around the room. You were compromised before you ever left your homeworld, Hyun whispered. Someone warned them you were coming. Impossible, Kang replied. The contract details were secure. Nothing is secure from humans when they feel threatened. Hyun's hands trembled slightly. Listen to me. The last assassin who targeted a human diplomat was found 3 months later, or rather parts of him were found scattered across 3 different systems. Exaggeration, Kang said dismissively. The one before that disappeared completely. The one before that allegedly turned himself in, rather than continue the contract. Hyun leaned closer. Do you understand what I'm telling you? Humans don't just defend, they hunt. All species protect their own, Kang argued. Not like humans. Hyun's voice dropped even lower. They have a concept called overkill. Most species stop when a threat is neutralized. Humans ensure it can never return. As Hyun spoke, Kang noticed a change in the ambient noise of the bar. Conversations had quieted. The movements of other patrons seemed suddenly purposeful. We're being watched, he said quietly. We've been watched since you arrived, Hyun replied. I'm leaving Proxima tonight. I suggest you do the same. After Hyun departed, Kang took a circuitous route back to his quarters, employing every counter-surveillance technique he knew. 3 times he thought he spotted the same security officer at a distance, but could never confirm it. Back in his room, Kang reviewed station security logs he had sliced into days earlier. What he found chilled him. Chief Security Officer Jin had convened a special task force the day before Kang's arrival. Their mission parameters were classified, but their patrol patterns formed a clear net around both Dr. Ji-Soo and Kang's own movements. For they were ready for me, he whispered. His computer chimed with an incoming station-wide announcement. Attention all inhabitants. A Level 3 security exercise will commence in 30 minutes. Please return to your quarters or designated safe areas until the all-clear signal. This is not an emergency. Repeat, this is not an emergency. Kang's eyes narrowed as he studied the security deployment map. The exercise created a steadily tightening perimeter around his location. It wasn't random. It wasn't practice. It was a hunt. And he was the prey. The station's lights dimmed to emergency red as the security announcement echoed through the corridors. Kang moved swiftly, abandoning his quarters with only essential equipment. 20 years of experience had taught him to prepare multiple escape routes. Now all 3 were compromised. His primary extraction vessel had been quarantined for routine inspection. His backup transport had mysteriously malfunctioned. His emergency beacon returned only silence when activated. Systematic elimination. I have options, Kang muttered as he slipped through a maintenance hatch. He needed to reach the station's lower levels where cargo ships docked. If he could stow away on an outbound freighter, he might still escape. The security patterns were unlike anything he had encountered before. Instead of searching randomly or following standard grid patterns, the human security teams moved in configurations that steadily reduced his available pathways. They weren't searching blindly, they were herding him. Kang accessed a terminal attempting to loop security camera footage in a neighboring sector. The system rejected his access codes. "Impossible," he whispered. These were master codes purchased, at great expense from a station insider. They had worked perfectly yesterday. A soft chime from his communicator indicated an incoming message. "Your access has been revoked. All 6 of your identities have been flagged in the system." 6 identities. No one knew about all 6. Not even Master Tay. Kang froze as realization dawned. His communications with Tay had been compromised from the beginning. Every plan, every contingency he had discussed had been intercepted. He needed to think differently. If the humans could predict his professional methods, perhaps unpredictability was his only advantage. He would do what no professional assassin would consider. He would confront his target directly. Dr. Jisoo's residential section was 4 levels up. Kang plotted a route through the least monitored areas, using service tunnels and garbage chutes to avoid the main corridors. 3 hours later, covered in grime and nursing a twisted ankle from a desperate crawl through a ventilation shaft, Kang reached the diplomatic quarter. Security was strangely light. Just 2 officers guarding the main entrance. It felt wrong. Too easy. Using a stolen maintenance uniform, Kang bypassed the guards and slipped into the residential wing. He disabled a single security camera outside, Jisoo's quarters, and prepared to override the door lock. The door slid open before he touched it. Inside, sitting calmly at a desk, was Security Chief Jin, not Jisoo. "We've been expecting you, Kang," Jin said, his voice conversational. "Please come in." Kang assessed his options. The corridor behind him remained empty. No alarms had sounded. He stepped cautiously into the room, hand near his concealed weapon. "Where is the diplomat?" he asked. "Safe," Jin replied. "Would you like to know how we knew you were coming, or would you prefer to know why your handler betrayed you?" Kang's eyes narrowed. "Explain." Jin gestured to a display screen showing communication logs. "Master Tay has worked with us for years. He warned us about your contract before you accepted it." "Impossible," Kang said. "Tay has been my handler for 20 years. And before that, he was human security's most valuable asset in infiltrating the Shadow Guild." Jin stood up slowly. "Did you never wonder why 3 previous assassins failed when targeting humans? We didn't kill them. We recruited them." Kang felt cold sweat on his skin. "Why reveal this to me?" "Because now you have a choice," Jin said. "The station is locked down. Every route is monitored. Every ship is searched. You will not leave Proxima alive without our permission." Jin pressed a button, and the room's display changed to show Dr. Jisoo in a secure location, watching their conversation. "We arranged this entire scenario," Jin continued. "The contract was never real. The target was never Jisoo. It was you." For the first time in his professional life, Kang realized he had become something he'd never been before, prey that had been deliberately lured into a trap. Kang stood frozen in Security Chief Jin's office, his mind racing to calculate odds. Of escape, there were none. "What happens now?" Kang asked, his voice steady despite the situation. Jin opened his mouth to respond when the door slid open. Dr. Jisoo entered, smaller in person than Kang had expected. The human moved with quiet confidence, studying Kang with intelligent eyes. "You've caused quite a disruption to my schedule," Jisoo said, taking a seat across from him. 3 assassination attempts in 1 week is actually a record even for me." "I only attempted 2, Kang replied automatically. Jisoo smiled. "The 3rd was the decision to come here directly. Brave but predictable." Jin moved toward the door. "I'll leave you 2 to talk." When they were alone, Jisoo gestured to the chair opposite. "Please sit. We have much to discuss." Kang remained standing. "I prefer to face death on my feet." "Death?" Jisoo looked genuinely surprised. "Is that what you expect? Execution for failed assassination?" "It would be the logical response," Kang said. Jisoo shook her head. "That might be how your species handles threats. Humans have learned there are often better solutions." She activated a display showing a complex network of communications and financial transactions. The consortium hired you through 3 different intermediaries, she explained. They want war between our species. Your assassination attempt would have provided the perfect excuse. Kang studied the display. How did you obtain this information? The same way we knew you were coming, Jisoo said. We have agents in places you cannot imagine, including your Shadow Guild. Master Tay, Kang whispered. Jisoo nodded. Among others. For generations, we humans were hunted on our home planet by predators faster and stronger than ourselves. We survived by understanding our enemies better than they understood themselves. She stood up and walked to a window overlooking the station's central hub. When we reached the stars, we brought that same strategy. For every known threat, we prepare 3 countermeasures. For every possible threat, we establish early warning systems. And for me? Kang asked. For you, we prepared a choice, Jisoo replied. Death is not the only option when dealing with a threat. Sometimes converting an enemy to an ally is far more valuable. Kang felt confusion. You would trust someone who came to kill you. Trust must be earned, Jisoo said. But opportunity can be offered. She brought up new information on the display. Details about the consortium's true objectives. They've hired 3 more assassins already, targeting other human diplomats. We know who they are, but not where or when they'll strike. Understanding dawned on Kang. You want me to help you stop them? We want you to help us expose the consortium, Jisoo corrected. Their leadership believes themselves untouchable. With your help, we can prove otherwise. Kang considered his options. Death or a new purpose? Why would you take this risk? Asked finally. Humans evolved not just to survive threats, but to learn from them, Jisoo replied. Throughout our history, some of our greatest allies began as our enemies. 3 months later, Kang stood before the Galactic Council as the key witness against the consortium leadership. His testimony revealed a plot that would have triggered war between multiple species. As the council passed judgment, Kang noticed Master Tay watching from the gallery. The old man nodded slightly in approval. That evening, Kang received a new communication device from Jisoo. The human security forces need advisors who understand how other species think, she explained. Your knowledge would be valuable. A prisoner providing intelligence? Kang asked. No, Jisoo said, a consultant helping prevent unnecessary deaths. As Kang considered the offer, he recalled something Master Tay had told him before his mission. Humans don't just eliminate threats, they transform them into something new. For the first time in 20 years, Kang saw a future beyond his next target. It was strange, but not unwelcome.